The mining colony on the edge of the galaxy was a quiet place. People there worked hard every day and did not expect much excitement. Jason was one of those people. He was a young engineer who liked to fix things. Jason lived alone in a small house, and most days he only talked to Amanda, his best friend since childhood. One night Jason was looking at the stars after a long day at work. The sky was clear and full of bright lights. Suddenly he saw something strange. A small light was moving fast across the sky. It was not a shooting star or a ship from the colony. This light moved in a way that was different from anything Jason had ever seen. He watched as the light grew bigger and brighter, then crashed into the forest outside the colony. Jason's heart started to race. He grabbed his jacket and ran to Amanda's house. She opened the door, still wearing her work clothes. Amanda was curious and always ready for an adventure. Jason told her about the strange light, and without a second thought, Amanda agreed to go with him to the crash site. They walked quickly through the dark forest, careful not to make too much noise. The trees were tall and the ground was covered with leaves. After a while, they saw a soft glow ahead. As they got closer, they saw a small spaceship. The ship was shaped like a tear and had strange markings on the side. Smoke was rising from the back of the ship, and it looked damaged but not destroyed. Jason and Amanda looked at each other, unsure of what to do next. They had never seen anything like this before. Slowly, they walked closer to the ship. The door to the ship was open, and inside, something was moving. Jason called out, "Hello, is anyone there?" A small figure stepped out of the shadows. It was a child, but not a human. Child. The skin was pale blue and the eyes were large and bright. The child was shaking and looked scared. Jason and Amanda stood very still, not wanting to frighten the child even more. Amanda spoke softly. "We're not here to hurt you." The child did not answer. Instead, she backed away and tried to hide behind a piece of broken metal. Jason took a step forward and knelt down, showing his hands to show he meant no harm. He smiled at the child, hoping it would help. The child looked at them, confused and afraid. She spoke in a language they did not understand. Her words were soft and musical, but neither Jason nor Amanda could make sense of them. Jason reached into his pocket and pulled out a small piece of candy. He placed it on the ground in front of him and gently pushed it toward the child. The child looked at it, then at Jason, and finally picked it up. She smelled the candy, then put it in her mouth. For the first time, she smiled a little. Amanda sat down on the ground, making herself look small and safe. She tried to speak in a calm and gentle voice. "It's okay. We're friends. You don't have to be afraid." The child listened, but she did not come any closer. Jason and Amanda stayed with her for a while, not wanting to rush her. They tried using simple gestures to show they wanted to help. After some time, the child started to trust them a little. She came out from behind the metal and stood closer to Jason and Amanda. Jason asked her name, but she only said a few words they did not understand. Amanda pointed to herself and said, "Amanda." Then she pointed to Jason. "Jason." The child listened and then said something that sounded like Myra. Jason and Amanda smiled. They repeated the name Mira. The child smiled back. They had finally learned her name. The night was getting colder, and they knew they could not leave Mira alone. Amanda suggested they take her to Jason's house, where she could rest and be safe. Jason agreed, but they both knew it would be dangerous if anyone from the colony found out. They carefully led Mira through the forest and back to the colony. Jason kept looking over his shoulder, worried someone would see them. When they reached Jason's house, he let Mira in and gave her a blanket. Myra sat quietly, looking around the small room. Amanda found some water and food, and they watched as Mira tried to eat. She was tired and soon fell asleep on Jason's couch. Jason and Amanda sat together and whispered about what to do next. They both knew this was only the beginning. They had to protect Mira, no matter what. Jason promised himself he would keep her safe, even if it meant breaking the rules. Amanda agreed. Together, they would face whatever came next. Jason did not sleep much that night. He sat in his small kitchen, thinking about Myra. He looked at her as she slept on his old couch, her face peaceful for the first time since they found her. Amanda made tea for both of them, and they whispered about what they should do next. They both knew it would not be easy to keep Myra hidden, but they did not want to give her to the colony leader. People might be afraid of her, or worse, they might hurt her. In the morning, Amanda brought some old clothes for Myra. She found a big sweatshirt and soft pants. Myra watched Jason and Amanda and tried to copy what they did. She put on the clothes, though they were too big for her small frame. She looked around the house, picking up things and turning them over in her hands. Everything was new to her. She pointed to a picture on the wall and said something in her language. Jason smiled and tried to show her what the picture was, hoping she would understand. Jason and Amanda knew they had to teach Myra some words. Amanda drew pictures on a piece of paper, then pointed to things in the room. She drew a cup, a table, and a chair. Myra listened and tried to say the words. Her voice was soft, and sometimes she laughed when she could not say something right. Jason and Amanda laughed too, and soon the room felt less serious. They tried to ask Myra where she came from. Jason pointed to the sky and made the sound of a ship. Myra looked sad. She drew a shape on the paper that looked like her ship. Then she drew other shapes, bigger and scarier, with sharp lines. Jason thought they must be other ships that chased her. Amanda drew a big circle and put small marks on it to show planets. Myra nodded and pointed to one of the marks. She tried to tell them her home was far away. Jason wanted to help her, but he did not know how. He felt sorry for Myra. She looked so alone in this strange place. During the day, Jason had to go to work at the repair shop. Amanda said she would stay with Myra. Jason told them to keep the door locked and not to answer if anyone knocked. He was worried, but he trusted Amanda. At the repair shop, Jason could not stop thinking about Myra. He fixed machines, but his mind kept wandering. He worried someone might notice something strange. When his boss, Mr. Harris, asked if everything was okay, Jason just nodded. He did not want to get Amanda or Myra in trouble. Back at home, Amanda and Myra spent the day together. Amanda showed Myra how to use the kitchen. She let her touch the cold water and feel the warm air from the oven. Myra was curious and wanted to try everything. Amanda let her help make soup, even if it took twice as long. They laughed when Myra dropped the spoon, and Amanda showed her how to clean up. Amanda also taught Myra how to say thank you and friend. Myra listened carefully and tried to say the words. Each time she got close, Amanda smiled and clapped. Myra liked making Amanda happy. She was learning fast, even though the words were hard for her. That afternoon, Jason came home early. He found Amanda and Myra sitting on the floor, drawing pictures. Myra had drawn a picture of herself with Jason and Amanda. She gave the picture to Jason, and he smiled. It made him feel proud and happy. Jason wanted to ask Myra more about her family. He pointed to her, then made a motion with his hands to show a big group of people. Myra looked sad and shook her head. She drew more pictures of ships with angry faces. Amanda put her arm around Myra and told her it was okay. Later, they heard loud voices outside. Someone was calling for Jason. It was his neighbor, Rick. Jason told Amanda and Myra to stay quiet and went outside. Rick just wanted to borrow a tool, but Jason felt nervous. He tried to act normal and gave Rick the tool, then watched him leave. Jason went back inside. Amanda told him that Myra had learned another word, safe. Jason knelt beside Myra and asked her if she felt safe. Myra nodded and smiled a little. Jason was glad. He wanted her to know she could trust him. That night, Amanda went home to her own house. Jason told Myra she could sleep on the couch again. Myra nodded and lay down. Before she closed her eyes, she looked at Jason and said, "Friend." Jason smiled and felt a warm feeling in his chest. He sat quietly for a while, thinking about everything that had happened. He knew it would get harder to hide Myra. Sooner or later, someone would notice. But for now, Jason was happy. Myra was safe, and they were becoming friends. Jason promised himself he would protect Myra, no matter what happened next. Strange signals began to appear in the sky above the mining colony. At first, only a few people noticed, but soon the whole colony was talking about it. Some people thought it was just another starship passing by, but others were worried. The leader of the colony, Captain Laura, was one of those people. She ordered her team to scan the sky for anything unusual. The machine showed odd readings that did not match any known ships or satellites dotted inside Jason's small house. Myra stayed hidden. Jason and Amanda took turns watching over her. They tried to help her feel safe, but Myra was nervous. She watched the window and listened for any noise outside. Sometimes she whispered words in her own language and hugged her knees. Jason wanted to help her, but he did not know what to say. Amanda tried to teach Myra a few English words every day, but it was slow work. Myra was smart and she learned quickly, but there were still many things she could not say. One night, as Amanda sat with Myra, the house shook. The lights flickered. Amanda looked at Jason, who was checking a scanner he kept hidden in his desk. The scanner picked up a signal from the sky. It was not like anything Jason had seen before. He showed the scanner to Amanda. The signal was getting stronger. "We have to be careful," Jason said. "Someone is looking for Myra," Amanda nodded. "We can't let anyone find her." Outside, search teams were already moving through the colony. Captain Laura led the search herself. She told her team to look for anything strange in the forest and the outer buildings. The search was slow, but the team was determined. Laura was sure that something or someone was hiding. Jason and Amanda decided to move Myra to the old storage shed at the edge of the colony. It was cold and dusty, but it was hidden. They wrapped Myra in warm clothes and waited until dark. Then they led her through empty streets. Every sound made them jump. They saw a patrol pass by, but they kept out of sight. At the shed, Myra huddled close to Jason. Amanda gave her some food and water. They told Myra to stay quiet no matter what happened. Myra nodded. Jason wanted to stay with her, but he knew he had to go back to the house to avoid suspicion. Amanda stayed with Myra and tried to make her comfortable. As the night went on, the signals in the sky became stronger. Jason watched from his window. He saw lights flashing in the sky, moving in ways no ship from the colony could. He was afraid. He wondered what kind of enemy could be searching for Myra. He hoped the colony would be safe. Back in the shed, Amanda listened to the sounds outside. She heard voices and footsteps. She held Myra close and told her not to worry. Myra tried to be brave, but Amanda could see the fear in her eyes. Amanda whispered that everything would be okay, but she was not sure if she believed it herself. The next morning, Captain Laura found signs that something had crashed in the forest. She ordered her team to search the area. Jason heard about the search and grew worried. He did not want anyone to find Myra's ship. He asked Amanda if she had seen any patrols near the shed. Amanda said they were safe for now, but she was worried. 2 later that day, the signals became even stronger. Jason's scanner showed new ships coming into the sky above the colony. He called Amanda on a secure line. "I think they're here," he said. "Whoever was chasing Myra, they found us." Amanda did not know what to do. She told Jason they had to warn Captain Laura, but Jason was not sure. If Laura found Myra, she might turn her over to the strangers in the sky. They did not know if they could trust Laura or the colony's leaders. Suddenly, Myra spoke. She used a mix of her words and the ones Amanda had taught her. She pointed to the sky and said, "Bad ones, coming, hurt people." Amanda understood. Myra's enemy was near, and they were dangerous. Jason made a plan. He told Amanda to stay with Myra and keep her hidden. He would watch the signals and try to find out what the enemy wanted. If he could learn something, maybe he could help the colony and protect Mira. As night fell, the enemy ships came closer. Jason saw them. Black shapes moving across the sky. The colony's alarm sounded. People ran to the shelters, and Captain Laura called for everyone to stay inside. Jason slipped out of his house and hurried to the shed. Inside, Amanda and Mira waited in the dark. Mira held Amanda's hand. Jason whispered, "We'll protect her, no matter what." They all listened as the enemy ships hovered above the colony. The night was filled with fear and hope. Jason promised to do everything he could to keep Myra safe, even as danger closed in from the sky. Jason sat in his small room, staring at the scanner. The signals from the enemy ships were not going away. They grew stronger every hour. He knew that if he did nothing, the colony would be in danger. Amanda and Mira were hiding in the old shed. He worried about them, but he also knew he had to do something soon. Jason was not a soldier or a leader. He was just a young engineer. But he was good with machines, and he was not afraid to take risks if it meant helping his friends. The sun was rising when Amanda called Jason on the secure line. "We cannot stay here forever," she said quietly. "Someone will find us." Jason thought about their choices. He knew they could not run. The enemy ships were already in the sky, searching for any sign of life. If they tried to escape, they would be caught. Jason had one idea left. "We need to warn the colony," he said. "Maybe we can make Captain Laura understand that Mira is not the enemy." Amanda was not sure. "What if she doesn't listen?" Jason said. "Then we have to try anyway." Jason took his small computer and began to work. He wanted to send a message to Captain Laura without showing his name. He used the colony's old computer lines, the ones he knew best, and wrote a warning. "Danger in the sky. Protect the colony. Trust the child." He sent the message and waited. Amanda tried to help Mira stay calm. She gave her food and water, but Myra was shaking. Myra looked at Amanda and said, "Bad ones hurt my people. They come here." Amanda held her hand. "We will not let them hurt you." While Jason waited, he thought about the enemy. He looked at the scanner and tried to read the signals. He saw that the enemy ships were not landing yet. They were watching and waiting. He wondered if they were looking for Myra or if they wanted something else from the colony. Suddenly, someone knocked on Jason's door. He hid the scanner and opened the door slowly. It was a young security guard named Matt. Matt looked worried. "Captain Laura wants everyone in the main hall," he said. "It's not safe to stay alone." Jason followed Matt to the hall, but his mind was on Amanda and Mira. He sat in the back of the room and listened as Captain Laura spoke to the people. She told them about the signals in the sky and the search teams. She said, "We must work together. If you see anything strange, tell us right away." Jason watched her face. She looked tired and worried. He hoped she would see his message. After the meeting, Jason left quietly and made his way back to the shed. He found Amanda and Mira safe, but Mira was very tired. Amanda said, "Myra is afraid. She keeps saying her enemies are close." Jason thought of a plan. "We need to make it harder for the enemy to find her," he said. He showed Amanda how to cover the shed's windows and use old metal pieces to block any scanners from the sky. They worked together until the shed was almost invisible from above. Later, Amanda checked her small radio. She picked up a message from Captain Laura. "Whoever sent the warning," Laura said, "please come forward. We need to know what you know." Jason was scared, but he knew he had to talk to Captain Laura. He left Amanda with Mira and went to the leader's office. He knocked softly. Laura opened the door and looked at him with tired eyes. "Do you know something about the signals?" she asked. Jason nodded. "I do. But you have to promise me something first. You must not hurt the child. She is not our enemy." Captain Laura listened as Jason explained what he knew about Mira, her crash, and the enemy ships. Laura was surprised, but she saw that Jason was telling the truth. "Where is the child now?" she asked. Jason said, "She is safe. We hid her. We want to protect her." Laura thought for a moment. "Bring her to me. If she is really peaceful, we must work together." Jason agreed, but only if Amanda and he could stay with Mira. Laura said yes. That night, Jason and Amanda brought Myra to Laura's office. Mira was afraid, but Jason held her hand. Laura knelt down and smiled. "You are safe here. We want to help you." Mira looked at Jason and Amanda, then at Laura. She tried to speak. "My people run from bad ones. Please help." Laura nodded and promised to protect her. Jason felt hope for the first time since Myra arrived. As they left the office, Amanda whispered, "Do you think we can trust her?" Jason said, "We have to. It's our only chance." Outside, the sky was dark. The enemy ships were still there. But now Jason, Amanda, and Mira had someone on their side. They were not alone anymore. Jason hoped it would be enough to save them all. Jason, Amanda, and Mira sat in Captain Laura's office, waiting. The office was quiet except for the soft hum of machines and the low voices from the hall outside. Myra held Jason's hand and looked around with wide, worried eyes. Amanda tried to comfort her, but she was nervous too. They had never been in the leader's office before, and now they had to trust Laura with Myra's safety. Captain Laura watched them for a long moment before she spoke. "I believe you," she said gently, "but the colony is in danger. Those ships in the sky will not leave us alone." Myra looked up at Laura. She tried to speak in English. "They are bad, hurt my family, hurt my people." She pointed to the ceiling, showing she meant the ships above. Laura nodded. "We need to show everyone you are not a threat." She walked to the window and looked out at the dark sky. "The colony will be afraid when they see you. But if you are brave, maybe they will listen." Jason felt a wave of worry. "What do you want us to do?" he asked. Laura thought for a moment. "Come with me," she said. She led them down the hall and into the main meeting room. People from the colony were already gathering. They looked tired and scared. When Laura walked in, everyone grew quiet. Laura stood at the front and raised her hand. "Listen to me," she called. "There is someone I want you to meet." She nodded to Jason and Amanda. Jason took Myra's hand and led her to the front of the room. The people stared at Mira with wide eyes. Some of them gasped when they saw her blue skin and large eyes. Laura spoke again. "This is Mira. She is not our enemy. She is running from those ships in the sky. If we help her, maybe her people will help us too." There was silence. One man stood up and asked, "How do we know she's not dangerous?" Myra stepped forward and spoke as clearly as she could. "I want peace. No hurt. I only run from bad ones." Amanda translated. When Mira used words people did not understand. "She is only a child," Amanda said. "She needs our help." A woman from the crowd came forward and offered Mira a piece of bread. Myra smiled and took it. Little by little, the people in the room began to relax. Jason saw hope in their faces. Laura said, "We need to work together. The enemy ships are watching us. If they attack, we must be ready." For the first time, Myra smiled at Jason and Amanda. She felt safe with them, and with Captain Laura, the colony started to plan how to defend themselves. Jason and Amanda joined in, offering ideas. The next day, the enemy ships came closer. Everyone in the colony worked to get ready. People built shelters and made weapons out of old machines. Jason used his skills to help fix the power lines and build a stronger fence. Amanda helped organize supplies and taught people how to stay. Calm. Mira helped as much as she could. She showed Jason a drawing of a special shield her people used. Jason thought they could build something like it. He worked with other engineers all night, following Myra's ideas. By morning they had a simple shield around the meeting hall. Captain Laura called a meeting with her top team. "We have to trust each other," she said. The enemy could attack at any time. She looked at Jason. If Myra's people get our message, they might help. Jason sent out a call for help, using the old radio Mira had brought from her. Ship! Myra spoke in her own language, sending a message to her people, telling them where she was and that she was safe with the humans. Then they waited, hoping someone would answer. That night, the enemy ship sent a message to the colony. The message was cold and harsh. Give us the child, and we will not attack. Laura gathered everyone. She looked at Mira, then at Jason. And Amanda. We will not give you up, Laura promised. You are one of us now. The colony cheered, but there was fear in the room. The enemy ships hovered closer, and bright lights flashed across the sky. Jason, Amanda, and Mira stayed. Together, they felt afraid, but they also felt strong. They knew they were not alone. Suddenly, another message came over the radio. It was in Myra's language, and Mira smiled with relief. My people, she said. They are coming. Everyone listened as Mira explained. My people will help. Fight. We must hold on until they arrive. Captain Laura nodded. We will do our best. We fight together. As the enemy ships prepared to attack, Jason and Amanda worked side by side with the others. Myra stood beside them, braver than ever. Together, humans and Mira faced the dark sky, ready to fight for their home and for their new friend. The sky was dark and full of lights from the enemy ships. The whole colony waited for what would happen next. Jason and Amanda stayed with Mira, ready to protect her. Captain Laura stood with her team, watching the sky and giving orders to the people. Everyone was afraid, but no one wanted to give up. The enemy ships moved lower, casting shadows over the buildings. Suddenly, the first blast hit the colony's fence. The ground shook and people screamed. Jason rushed to help fix the broken wires. Amanda helped guide families into the shelters. Mira was scared but tried to be brave. She remembered her own people and how they had run from these same enemies. She wanted to help the humans who had helped her. She showed Jason a special stone. From her pocket, it glowed with a soft blue light. This helps hide, Myra said. She touched the stone to the computer in the main hall. At first nothing happened, but then the lights flickered and the screen showed a new symbol, one Jason had never seen before. The shield around the hall grew stronger. The enemy ships shot at the building, but their blasts bounced off the shield. Captain Laura saw what was happening. She called out, "Stay in the hall. The shield is strong." People hurried inside. Jason and Amanda worked together to help Mira keep the stone safe. The enemy ships fired again and again, but the shield did not break. Outside, other buildings were hit. Fires started, and people ran for safety. Amanda found a little boy crying and carried him to the hall. Jason ran with 2 engineers to help put out a fire with buckets of water and old fire extinguishers. Mira saw the colony struggling and closed her eyes. She whispered in her own language, asking for help. Suddenly, a new sound filled the sky. It was a high, sweet tone, different from the enemy's harsh blasts. Look! Amanda shouted. In the sky above the enemy ships, a new group of ships appeared. They were small and silver, moving fast. Myra opened her eyes and smiled. My people! The enemy ships turned to fight the new arrivals. Myra's people used beams of light to block the enemy's weapons. The sky was filled with light and noise. Jason and Amanda watched from inside the hall, holding hands and hoping for the best. Captain Laura ordered her team to help Myra's people. The humans used their own machines to make noise and send fake signals, trying to confuse the enemy ships. Jason set up loudspeakers and sent out strange sounds, just as Mira suggested. The enemy ships began to move in circles, not knowing where to shoot. The battle was long and hard. The enemy ships were powerful, but together, the humans and Mira's people were stronger. Myra held the blue stone tightly and sang a soft song in her language. Each time she sang, the shield grew brighter. Finally, after hours of fighting, the enemy ships began to pull back. One by one, They left the sky, flying away from the colony. The new ships followed, chasing them far from the planet. The people in the hall cheered. Amanda hugged Mira, and Jason smiled for the first time in days. Captain Laura thanked everyone for their bravery. "We did it," she said. "We protected our home." The next morning, the colony woke to a new day. There was damage to many buildings, but the people were safe. Myra's people landed their ships near the colony. The doors opened, and people who looked like Myra stepped out. They had blue skin and gentle eyes. They smiled at the humans and gave small gifts to the children. Jason shook hands with one of the new arrivals. "Thank you for helping us," he said. "We thank you," the alien said. "You protected Mira when we could not." Captain Laura spoke to the new visitors. She invited them to share food and water with the colony. Amanda played with the children, showing them simple games. Mira was happy to see her people, but she stayed close to Jason and Amanda. That night, the humans and Mira's people gathered together for a meal. They shared stories in different languages and laughed at their differences. Jason looked at Mira and smiled. "You're safe now." Myra nodded, safe with friends. The battle was over, but everyone knew their lives had changed. The humans and the aliens had fought together, and now they looked at each other not with fear, but with hope. They knew there would be challenges, but they also knew they could face them together. The morning after the battle, the mining colony was quiet. The sky was blue again, and the air felt different. Jason stood outside his house, looking at the place where enemy ships had once filled the sky. There were still broken buildings, marks from the fighting, but the feeling of fear was gone. People walked slowly through the colony, checking on their friends and neighbors. Some helped repair fences, while others cleared away the burnt pieces of metal from the streets. Mira and her people moved carefully among the humans. At first, some of the children were shy, but when they saw Mira laughing and playing with Amanda, they joined in. Mira showed the children a small toy from her home. It spun and glowed with soft colors. The children clapped and smiled. Mira laughed and gave the toy to a little girl named Lily. Amanda watched the children and felt proud. She saw how Mira had helped change the colony. Where there was once fear, there was now hope. Captain Laura called everyone to the meeting hall. The hall was still damaged, but it was safe. People and aliens sat together, waiting to hear what Laura would say. Captain Laura stood at the front of the room. She looked tired, but she smiled. "We survived the attack because we trusted each other," she said. "We stood together and fought for our home. We also helped new friends when they needed us." She turned to Myra's people and bowed her head. "Thank you for fighting with us. We are stronger together." One of Myra's people stepped forward. She wore a silver band on her wrist and had gentle eyes. She spoke in simple English. "We thank you. You gave our child safety when she was alone. Now we wish to share peace and help you rebuild." People cheered. Amanda hugged Myra. Jason shook hands with the alien leader. For the first time, there was real friendship between the two groups. Jason spent the next few days working with both humans and aliens. They repaired buildings and fixed machines. Mira's people shared new tools and taught the humans how to use them. Amanda showed the aliens how to make simple food with local plants. Laughter and talk filled the colony. Even at night, people stayed outside, sharing music and stories under the stars. Mira became a symbol of hope. She walked through the colony each day, checking on people. If someone was sad or afraid, she would sit with them and listen. She did not speak much English, but she always smiled. That was enough to help most people feel better. One evening, Jason, Amanda, and Mira sat together outside Jason's house. The stars were bright. Mira pointed to a group of stars and said the names in her language. Amanda tried to repeat the names, and they all laughed when she got them wrong. Jason looked at his friends and felt a kind of happiness he had never known before. A few days later, a message arrived from the leaders of Mira's people. They wanted to form an alliance with the humans. They promised to share knowledge and help protect the colony from future danger. Captain Laura agreed. A celebration was held in the main hall. People brought food, music, and gifts. Myra's people sang a song of peace, and the humans joined in. For the first time, the hall was filled with voices from two worlds, singing. Together, as time passed, the colony changed. More of Myra's people came to visit. They built new houses and gardens. Children from both worlds learned each other's games and languages. Jason and Amanda were given special medals by Captain Laura for their bravery. But they knew the real reward was the new life they had helped build. One night, as Jason walked home, he saw Mira sitting on the steps of his house. She looked at the stars and then at Jason. "Home," she said simply. Jason nodded. "Yes. This is your home now, too." Myra smiled and hugged him. Jason felt tears in his eyes. He knew things would never be the same, but he was not afraid. Together, they had turned fear into hope and built a future where humans and aliens could live side by side. As the days grew longer, the colony became a symbol of what was possible when people chose kindness and friendship over fear. Jason, Amanda, and Mira looked forward to a future filled with new adventures, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together as a family.